Legend of Stephen Hopkins. Recycled Classics Poetry Collection. By Faye Colum Fairley. Stories unfurled about the New World. As the years turned into decades, history was made by those so brave. They embarked on a journey by faith. Many brave men lived back then. The bravest will walk on before. On uncharted land, unfriendly to man, Stephen Hopkins stepped onto the shore. Stephen was born in 1581, in England to Elizabeth and John. This great man was in great demand for his leadership abilities alone. On a ship at sea, so famous was he. He was noted by William Shakespeare. Through perils he came, earning more fame. His reputation for bravery was clear. Each journey's end earned new friends, but enemies also, it seems. Faced with death, this too was a test. Each time, he reigned supreme. Soon his name had increased in fame, bringing more reasons to fight. One such excursion, upon his returning, he was told his wife had died. Children in hand, this famous man had no trouble finding a new wife. This family of 4 set out to explore, and soon would start a new life. A journey was planned for a new land. Again, Stephen's help was required, going to a shore he had been before. He was greatly feared and admired. To answer their calling, he and John Alden boarded the famous Mayflower. With Miles Standish, these men brandished weapons and tools, with great power. All in danger, the saints and the strangers. Together they formed a compact. This mighty trip on this mighty ship, determined to never turn back. Limited provisions, and lack of nutrition, brought sickness and ill health. Despite the damage, they faced the challenge, and on they bravely sailed. In a great storm, a baby was born, the only one this title to claim. The happy papa was Stephen Hopkins. Oceanus was the baby's name. As land drew near, it brought great fear of savages living on this land. Stories they heard were quite absurd. Stephen Hopkins then took a stand. We must befriend these unknown men, if we have hopes to survive. He was there before on this very shore, and he knew how to stay alive. These saints devout had dreamed about the new world, their promised land. Strangers too had their own view of the wealth awaiting each man. A group of men, prepared to defend, rowed toward the dark shoreline. They soon would see a different degree of dangers for them to find. This December they would long remember, when their foot touched the land. The dangers afloat that mighty boat would not be experienced again. Land brought forth a different sort of troubles they must endure. They held true, and followed through, with Stephen's advice so sure. That first winter was brutal and bitter, and half of the travelers died. They buried the dead, and forged ahead, to build their new world with pride. They learned a lot about planting crops, from the Indians living there. They soon discovered by helping each other, the new world was better when shared. The settlement grew, and the people knew, to survive, they must be bound by pacts they made in the early days, when they first touched the new ground. Stephen was strong, helped them along to make their personal choice. A newly found land, where every man will stand and speak his own voice. This country began with women and men, who stood by their ideas and dreams, working to find their peace of mind, not bowing to evil men's schemes. These women and men could always depend on Stephen Hopkins' sound advice. When he saw danger, he showed his anger, and stood up for what is right. This man of conviction took his position of good over evil each time. If justice was needed, his anger was heated, and promptly responded in kind. Many brave men, some foe, some friend, walked over this earth years ago. But of the many, in 1620, Stephen Hopkins is my hero. From years ago, all those who know how history came to be have someone in line to always shine, like a beacon on the dark sea. I'm proud to say, in early days, when pilgrims came here to live, I give a hand to a very brave man, who gave all that he could give. Stories unfurled about the new world. As the years turned into decades, history was made by those so brave. They embarked on a journey by faith. Many brave men lived back then. The bravest will walk on before, on uncharted land, unfriendly to man. Stephen Hopkins stepped onto the shore.